Hello everybody, hope you're doing well today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the newest library from Orchestral Tools, which is Glory Days Big Band Horns. So what exactly is Glory Days? Well, it is Orchestral Tools' newest venture into jazz and big band territory. And they come out really strong here with a full series of the brass section of a big band. So that's trumpets, trombones, and saxes. And you can see here on the left side, they've recorded 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, so 3 regular ones, and then a bass trombone, and then 2 altos, 2 tenors, and 1 Bari Sax. So let's just get right into it. When you open up the library, you'll see the multis and the singles. So we're just going to start with the single instruments, just a little bit to show you how the patches are laid out and what they kind of look like. So if we take a look here, we click at the trumpet 1, and we get these different options here with the different mutes as well as the trumpet without the mute. These are all the different articulations that are recorded. And one of the biggest selling points in OT products is that the articulations are very consistent throughout the different instruments here. And so if we go into these 4 trumpets, I think there might be 1 or 2 little differences, especially in the mutes, but maybe not actually. But for example, let's take a look here. So yeah, it's very consistent, and then the mutes themselves have the very similar articulations as well. Okay, trumpet 4 has a solo tone, legato, which sounds beautiful. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, let's get into the legato of the trumpet 1. You hear the doit at the end. That basically comes from this key switch right here, which is A sharp -1. So what I did was, originally it was set to +2 on my keyboard. So what I had to do is I had to press this down arrow right here, lower the octave range, and now I get access to this key switch right there. And if you can look right there, it says soft release. And it resulted in a doit. So, right? Sounds awesome. You hear the tone right out of the box sounds quite cinematic and quite reverberant. And that's because by default, the tree mics and the close mics are loaded. So if you were looking for a drier sound, what you can do is take out the tree and maybe load in the spot, which is very dry by itself. You can still hear a little bit of the hall there. I mean, you can't take out the hall sound completely if it's recorded in the hall, but it's a very beautiful sound though. I think what's really cool about this is that even though I'm playing legato, the legato patch, if I'm trying to play a little bit of staccato, if I'm playing shorter articulations, it could pass as pretty good staccato. Right, it has that sharp attack, which big band staccato is known for. So it's pretty cool. What I like to do is usually layer in close 2 and spot. So it's just a very nice tone there. Let's move on to the legato plus the falls. So for the fall there, you could hear that fall sample being triggered after you let go of the legato note. So I'm playing at E flat. Now I'm going to press the key switch, A sharp -1, and then when I let go, you hear that? It's almost seamless. It sounds like it's kind of crescendoing into the final part of that note, and then it does the fall after that. Right? In between, there's a little bit of a transition there, but in a mix, I think it'll sound awesome. Let's get the marcatos, so they sound like this. pretty average size spiccato in terms of length, but the shorter you play, right, you can control the length that way. And then the falls. So I think this patch would be really, really good for the very end of a phrase. Like maybe the trumpet's doing a shake. And then right after that, it does the fall. You know, you can add that on to the very last moment. And then I'll have a very cinematic ending there. I wanted to show some of the shorts as well. These are very biting and very nice. Okay. Let's hear it really nice and dry. Oops. So very in your face and very upfront, which is awesome. Now they also pre-recorded some crescendos, shorts and longs. So I'm just gonna do the shorts here. Right, very beautiful sound, classic OT sound. You really can't replicate that with just writing the mod wheel. Doing it this way, recording the actual performances themselves is the most authentic we're gonna get. So, and then of course the classic jazz articulation, the shakes, right? And then so you notice the higher up you go, the faster those shakes get. So it's relatively quick. I would have loved it if they were a touch slower, I think, because I've heard records where they do the shakes and they're not quite as fast, but maybe it's easier to play faster. I'm not really sure. But anyway, the shakes sound awesome as well. And then let's get into the mutes just a little bit. So the bucket mute here, as you can see, bucket right there. The bucket mute sounds like this. Okay, and articulation-wise, it's quite similar to the regular trumpet without the mute, just with a couple less things. No shakes, for example. Let's move on to the cup legato. And if you think the transitions are too loud, you can always go into the settings page here, or the microphone positions page, and kind of tweak the legato volume. Right? So it makes for very natural performances. We get the Harmon legato, Harmon mute. Okay, and each time I'm activating the key switch for the Deutz. And then finally, I wanted to show the plunger sustains. They did not record legato for this. Okay, it's pretty cool. So you have sustains, marcato, staccato, scoops, and doo-wops, which sound like this. So what I'm doing here is I'm pressing the key, and then as soon as I let go, the wop is triggered. So it's doo-wop. As soon as I let go of the key, then the wop is triggered. So the quicker you play the note, the quicker the doo-wop will be completed. Awesome. Let's move on to the next section, which is the trombones. These are the really, really brassy instruments we're talking about here. The trumpets as well. So let's get right into the trombone 1 legato. Those Deutz sound awesome. I just love the cinematic sound of the Teldec Studio, honestly. Let's listen to the falls. right? So very, very consistently recorded. They all sound really good. Staccato. Cool. Some scoops. I would assume these are really good for starting phrases. Okay, and some shakes. Usually we hear these the most in the trumpets because they're the higher section of the big band, right? And they do those really, really loudly. This solo tone legato is really nice. Perfect for those romantic solo lines. Speaking of which, I said I was going to go over the solo tone legato in the fourth trumpet. So let's quickly have a listen to that. It's really, really cool. Okay, so now that we've known basically the single articulations, the multis are where this library really shines, in my opinion, because there's really a few ways to program in your instruments, right? You can play them in and then do the different key switches on one track, which basically allows you to save on computer resources and not have to load separate articulations for different tracks, right? Doing it this way, you have one track where you can record your performance, and this is the way I do it. So for example, I'm going to record. Let's start with the sustains, actually. Let's go like... So let's say I recorded a line there, and then what I can do afterwards is go little by little, activate the different key switches, so record the notes that these articulations are associated with. So the red section in this area are for the key switches. You can see here, when I click this, for example, it activates the bends short. So playing around with these key switches a lot is what's going to give you the most realistic performance. That and tweaking the velocity of the notes themselves. Because the velocity is basically how hard you press the key, right? And for some of these articulations, the harder you press, the louder the note is going to become. So when you're doing, a passage, you don't want any notes jutting out when they're not supposed to. You don't want any notes being too soft either. So making sure you tweak those velocities is really, really crucial. But of course, getting the right articulations is even more important first. So yeah, just really, really listen to a lot of big band music and see what you can pick up on there. I love the system where you can basically apply true legato to any articulation of your choice. For example, let's say I want some marcatos and I want them to have legato transition. So I'll click that little icon up there, which activates the transitions. Then I can go. Right? So all those notes I was playing had legato transitions in between, and it basically allowed for a smoother performance. Let's hear some of these falls. So this is the bass trombone, very raspy and very farty, Cool. How about some crescendo longs? All right, and the sforzando. This works really well for layering. And then the trombones also come with mutes as well. So if we take a look here, you see here we have the different mutes. I won't go through them in this video just because you can find them in the walkthroughs of Orchestral Tools libraries, of the Orchestral Tools videos. Let's talk about the saxes now. Saxes are something that I don't think OT have sampled before, and the result is awesome. So let's give it a listen here. Let's start with the alto sax 1 multi. Let's check the mic positions. Here we only have the close 1 activated. Let's add in the tree here. Awesome. Let's see. So if we have the Deutsch here, then I can use the key switch. Right? So the actual tone of the instruments are beautiful. Let's get some of the shakes going. Almost sounds like a telephone's ringing. Okay, and then the tenor sax. This one's quite wet by default. Let's bring in the spot here. See, there's a lot of samples here to load, so it might take a while. If your performance is a little choppy, if it cuts in and out, that might be the reason why. But the samples themselves are pristine, very, very nice. I think the saxophones especially is where we're going to use these dynamics a little more than the shakes. Hear how they're recorded in different speeds as well. That's pretty cool. Okay, and the baritone sax. So with a little bit of Deutsch in there as well. Some riccados. Right? Just looking at the articulations, they're very consistent as well. Okay. Bends. The thing about jazz libraries is that it's really hard to capture the same articulations by yourself. To create the jazz sounding stuff, it really needs to be pre-performed. And I think OT have done a really good job with capturing the essential articulations that the big band covers. And so this stuff here, it's not overwhelming, but it covers pretty much everything you would need, I believe. So yeah, that's it for Glory Days, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this. There's, as you can see, it's pretty in-depth in terms of the sampled articulations. There's round robins for these articulations as well, especially the ones, especially the shorts. You get quite a few instruments as well, because they've sampled the full size sections, like 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxes. It's a very solid lineup, and because they're all recorded individually, you don't have to worry about any pre-baked ensembles, and if you do want them, then you can just layer them in together. So record different performances of for example, trumpet 1, trumpet 2, and then put them in together, and then it'll sound like a section performing together. But I do like this approach a little bit more because it gives us more control over every single instrument. And yeah, as we said, it already comes with all the articulations that an arranger would need. They all just sound really good. I think OT has have done a really good job here. And there's some competition out there, but honestly, it's like this sound is very unique in itself, and the microphone positions it comes with covers ground really, really well. So you can get pretty dry, right? Just the spot by itself already does a lot for you. Right? You don't want it 100% dry anyway, right? Because you want it to sound like the whole band is playing in the room together. So it's going to have a little bit of natural reverb anyway. The surround ones, on the other hand, are very wet. Naturally. But yeah, so you can tweak to your heart's content. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you really get a good use out of this library, because I'm just really, really happy that OT went with this concept and that now it's come to life. I think it can only get better, and I'm really looking forward to what they do in the future. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.